Respected elders, educationists, dear teachers, and dear students, welcome. In this class, we are going to see five couplets under the 25th chapter, having the head compassion, that is mercy. What Saint Vallabhan stresses the importance of mercy in this chapter. In which way mercy is important for human being? How mercy connect peoples and all living beings with each other. Such a powerful tool is mercy. So, enjoying mercy is a must for virtuous people. It's a must for all people, but particularly for virtuous people should have mercy. Tirukkural comments and explanations with a new dimension. Five couplets from 241 to 245. Video 98, dated 27 4 2024. Virtue, chapter 25. Ascetic virtue, compassion, that is mercy, having mercy on all living beings. Couplet 241. The greatest wealth among the riches is mental riches, because even unearthly man possesses earthly riches. That is, the greatest wealth among the riches is mental riches, because even unworthy man possesses earthly riches. Dear elders and educationists, teachers and students, in human life there are two kinds of wealth. One is earthly wealth, that is material wealth. Another is mental wealth. There are two kinds of wealth. Among these two kinds of wealth, mental wealth is the greatest one. Material wealth is not so great as mental wealth. So here, the greatest wealth among riches is the mental riches. Here, mental riches here particularly means mercy. It is among the various kinds of riches, mercy is the greatest wealth. There are so many kinds of mental wealth. Among or mental, and material wealth, mercy is the greatest wealth. It is because material riches, material wealth travels even with worthless goons. So, mercy is the greatest wealth. There are two kinds of wealth. One is material wealth, another is mental wealth. Among the mental wealth, the super, the first one is mercy. Vallabhan says, among the riches, mercy is the greatest wealth, because material wealth travels even with worthless goods. So, mercy is the greatest wealth. The greatest wealth among the riches is mental riches, because even unworthy man possesses earthly riches. Content. Mercy is the greatest wealth. For travels only with the great, but the perishable earthly riches travel even with worthless goons. For he who doesn't enjoy mercy doesn't enjoy anything. He who doesn't enjoy mercy doesn't enjoy anything. Explanation. Riches are of two kinds. One is the material wealth, got from the proud earth. Another is the formless wealth, got from the gracious mind. Kindness, mercy, grace, pity, compassion, etc. are the imperishable virtuous riches of the mind. Of the two, the formless divine wealth of the mind is superior to the material wealth. That is, it is because the divine riches of the mind, such as kindness, mercy, etc., travel only with the virtuous people. But on the other hand, the material riches travel even with worthless goods. Hence, mental wealth is superior to earthly wealth. Again, the greatest wealth among the riches is mental riches. Because even unworthy man possesses earthly riches. That is, among the mental and material riches, mercy is the greatest wealth. Because material wealth travels even with worthless goons. Chapter 242. Lead a life, lead a life of kindness, seeking grace's spot. All sorts of searches show it is of the greatest worth. Again, lead a life of kindness, seeking grace's spot. All sorts of searches show it is of the greatest worth. It is, we should lead a kind life. Man should lead a kind life. Merciful. Man should lead a merciful life. Finding out the gracious spot. That is, man should find a merciful path and live accordingly. In short, that is, man should lead a merciful life. That is the greatest life. When we search all kinds of virtues, when we search what kind of virtue, it is mercy that stands first. Okay, all kinds of lead a life of kindness. We should lead a merciful life. It is the best life. All the various kinds of searches show that merciful life is the greatest life. And mercy stands by us. When we lead a merciful life, when we lead a kindness, when a kind life, when sufferings comes to us, the mercy prevents the suffering, not paining us. So this one, lead a life of kindness, seeking a gracious path. We should lead a merciful life. It is the greatest life. It comes to know from various kinds of searches. That is, various kinds of searches show that merciful life is the greatest life. Content. Gracious living is the greatest of all sorts of living. Gracious living is the greatest of all sorts of living. God, the heart sends mercy won't burn even in the graveyard. The heart sends without mercy won't burn even in the graveyard. Explanation. When we search all the ways of human life, it seems leading a graciously wise life is superior to all. That is, finding out the merciful way of living and living accordingly is the best way of living. That is, the life coupled with merciful wisdom is the greatest of all sorts of living. The life coupled with merciful wisdom is the greatest of all sorts of living. Again, lead a life of kindness, seeking a gracious path. That is, we should find out a merciful path and lead our life accordingly. From various searches, it comes to light. That is, various kinds of searches show that merciful life is the greatest life. So, live having mercy as the mother. Then, couplet 243. People leading a merciful life are blessing won't have the dark world of suffering. People leading a merciful life of blessing won't have the dark world of suffering. What is the message? That is, if we lead a merciful life, no suffering would pain us. Okay? If we lead a merciful life, no suffering would pain us. Content. The darkness of distress would never touch the merciful mind. The darkness of the darkness of distress could never touch the merciful mind. For in the merciless heart, only darkness would live. This is the in the merciless heart, only darkness would live. That is, the content is that. I mean, the apparent message of this couplet is mercy is the greatest weapon to lead a successful life. Mercy won't allow suffering to separate. Mercy won't allow suffering to near it. So we should lead a merciful life. If you do not lead a merciful life, then the suffering would be paining us. Well, this is this is the center idea of the couplet. This is the open idea. This is the apparent message. This is the inter message. Explanation. If we lead a graciously wise life, the darkness of distress caused by ignorance will never near a mind. That is, if you lead an enlightened, merciful life, the darkness of distress caused by ignorance would never ever near us. If we lead an enlightened, merciful life, If you live an enlightened, merciful life, the darkness of distress caused by ignorance would never ever near us. Again, people leading a merciful life of blessing won't have the dark world of suffering. That is, if we lead a merciful life, no other suffering would never near us. If we lead a merciful life, suffering, that is a distress, would never near us. Chapter 244. People guarding all living things with grace won't be affected by any evil deed of disgrace. People guarding all living things with grace won't be affected by any evil deed of disgrace. That is, if we tend all living things kindly, if we treat all living things kindly and guard them safely, then no distress would attack us. No external distress, no external evil deeds would attack us. Again, if we treat beings, all living beings, including man, kindly and guard them safely, then no suffering, no outward suffering, no suffering caused by outward evil deeds would attack us. Content. No harm would touch those who love all living things as themselves. No harm would no harm would touch those who love all living beings as themselves. That is, if we love all living beings as ourselves, then no harm would touch us. For the world would enjoy no goodness because of a kindless man. The world would enjoy no goodness because of a kindless man. Explanation. People who love all living beings dearly, and guard them sincerely need not worry about their own life. People who love all living things dearly and guard them sincerely need not worry about their own life. That is, those who love all living things as themselves need not bother about the danger, need not bother about danger, the danger of outside evil deeds. Those who love all living things as themselves need not bother about the danger of outside evil deeds. Again, people guarding all living things with grace won't be affected by any evil deed of disgrace. That is, if we treat all living beings kindly and protect them safely, no suffering, no distress caused from outside evils, evil deeds would affect us. No outside evil deeds would affect. If we treat all living beings kindly, no outward evil deeds would affect us. Kata 245. Gracious people have no distress. The earth surrounded fertile world is the witness. The gracious people have no distress. The earth surrounded fertile world is the witness. What is the message? That is, gracious people, gracious people, that is, people of mercy, that is, merciful people of mercy have no distress. People of mercy have no distress, no suffering. People leading a delightful life on this breeze surrounded, yeah, breeze surrounded, fertile, pretty earth is an example for that. Again, gracious people have no suffering. That is, pe- people of mercy would have no distress. People leading a delightful life on the earth. People leading a delightful life on this breeze surrounded. People leading a delightful life on this breeze surrounded beautiful earth is an example. Shortly. Uh, say, merciful people would have no distress. People leading a delightful life on this earth is an example for it. 20. Distress would never rule him who rules grace. Distress would never rule him who rules grace. Mercy. God. Distress would never leave the heartless. Here, content is distress could never rule him who rules grace. At the contrary, that is the core. Distress would never leave the heartless man. Explanation. People of compassionate heart, people of compassionate heart would never suffer from sorrow. People happily living on the earth surrounded prosperous earth is the best witness for it. The people of compassionate heart would never suffer from sorrow. People happily living on the earth surrounded prosperous earth is the best witness for it. It is men of merciful heart would never meet any distress. Men of merciful heart would never meet any distress. Virtuous people happily living on the earth is the fine example for it. Virtuous people happily living on the earth is the best example for it. Again, gracious people have no distress, and merciful people would have, would never have any suffering. Example, People happily leading a life on this beautiful earth is an example for that. So respected elders, educationists, the teachers and dear students. So far we have seen the five couplets. I mean, with a rich content. Five couplets. So what is the importance of mercy? See, mercy is the mother of all virtuous deeds. Without mercy, a man is not a man. If a man is to be taken as a man, first of all, he should have the first and best quality, mercy. Without mercy, a man is not a man. So the first couplet, the couplet 241 says, that is the greatest wealth among riches, the greatest wealth among riches is the mental wealth. The greatest wealth among various kinds of wealth is the mental wealth. So this mental wealth means mercy. There are so many mental wealth. Among them, mercy is the greatest wealth. The greatest wealth is mercy. It is because even worthless goons has material wealth. There are two kinds of wealth on the earth. Regarding human beings, there are two kinds of wealth. One is material wealth, that is earthly wealth. Another is mental wealth. Among these two kinds of wealth, mercy, that is the mental wealth. Mercy is the greatest wealth. Why? Because material wealth travels both with the virtuous people and also it travels with worthless goons. So material wealth is not a worthful wealth. Only mental wealth, that is kindness, that is positive mental wealth. Among them, mercy is the greatest wealth. This is the so I request particularly my children and grandchildren who are students nowadays, and my daughters and sons, my child who are as teachers. That is, we should advocate. First of all, we should practice. We also should practice kindness, mercy, and through our kindness, we should make others to follow us, and lead a merciful life. It is simply as a man, as a human being, every one of us should treat every living being with kindness. We should treat all living beings with kindness, including human beings. Okay. Yes. Respected elders, educationists, the teachers and students, I thank all of you for gravely listening to my class regarding compassion. There is mercy. Till I meet you in the next class, I wish you a very nice and sweet time. Thank you.